You know how you said you kind of understand when people feel suicidal. You know, I remember when you said that.
Yeah, I know, and I've said that a bunch of times since it happened. But what's your question? Sorry.
Like, do you? Because I think about that too sometimes. Where like,
that's the only time I've ever had that thought.
Well, I don't think about me. I'm thinking like other people. Like, what does it take to be like, you know what? I'm gonna end my life. My question is, do you think that it's like that feeling is like it's almost like this immense boredom? With you know how like you just don't have. It's not like this pain that I gotta end. It's more that like there's really no reason for me to. It's like you're going up this hill, but the hill isn't that steep. But it's just
never
long.
ending.
Yeah, you know.
I think that's part of it. Yeah, like it's like from what I've read, the few suicide notes that I've seen when you find like we had one. I don't know if I talked about it on the show last time. I was teaching on a sniper course, and one of the guys, I was talking to him at one moment about what we're gonna do Saturday. Because they're all guys you work with, right? It's kind of like, I'm sure it's the same as the SEALs. So a lot of them that come on the sniper course anyway are guys you've picked out of the platoons. And then, even if they pass, you still have a meeting where you go, okay, do we really want to work with Echo guys? Like, I know we gave them the badge, but are we going to let them into the teams? And then, so this is one of the guys. So, I'm getting to know him a little bit more. He's from the other battalion. And, yeah, cool, man. I know this girl in town and this and that. And okay, right on. And 20 minutes later, we're like, where the fuck did he go? We're doing roll call. Where the fuck is he? And we found him hanging from one of the, the pavilions that are out in the training area. Yeah. He gets shade during lectures. So he was out there. And we find this letter on his pillow, and I'm reading, and it's about they feel like they're in this pain that's never ending.
Yeah. And
I don't think it's boredom. I think it's just it's the no light at the end of the tunnel feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, as you were asking that question, the word I wrote down was because we've been talking about it. We've heard from it from the last couple podcasts that we did, and it's the same thing you just said. It's hope. So when you don't have any hope that this is going to end, when you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, and like I said, when you're stuck in this storm and everywhere you look, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You don't see that the cloud ends somewhere and that the thundering lightning will subside. You just are in a storm no matter where you look. There's a storm, and they say, there's no hope of getting out of this storm. And I think that's where they start having those thoughts.
Luckily, though, when the thought entered my mind, like, I get it, and again, I never thought of suicide, but I had the thought go through my brain where I go, I get why some people might see this as an option. Yeah. Because I did see, because I'm texting him, I'm texting Rob, I'm texting, my buddies in the Kansoff, my regimental friends, my mom, my dad, my brother. Most of the people that should be aware there's a problem were aware. Yeah. So I still had lots of light coming in, but it was now it's your choice. Are you going to go towards it, or are you going to stay floating where you are, I guess, is a way. Like, are you going to reach for the line, or are you going to sit there and be like, it's just out of arm's reach?
Yeah, I talk about detachment all the time, and this is like another situation where obviously when you're wrapped up in those kind of emotions, right? You can't see anything else. Somebody that's outside, they're perfectly clear, can help guide you out of that, even though it's going to be hard and there's things they're not going to understand and all that, but they can at least, they know that they're outside that, and they can see it. Just like on the battlefield, somebody that's at elevation, you get into a building,
have
you get
a sniper position.
Yeah, somebody
guys go left,
exactly.
And they go right, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah. So if you can reach out to somebody that has a little bit better altitude on the battlefield that you're in, then, and if you can reach out to them, say, hey man, I can't see what's going on. Yeah. All I see is darkness. Point me in the right direction. Yeah. And they're going to tell you some dumb shit like, hey, okay, let's get you to a doctor. Let's get you stop drinking. Let's get you in the gym again. They're going to tell you some stuff that sounds stupid.
It sounds way too easy.
Yeah, it sounds way too easy.
Oh, you think it's that easy, bro?
Yeah,
eh?
Simple.
Fuck,
just like that. Yeah.
But you know what I like what you said is you're like, man, I keep having to go back to boot camp.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's really, if you think about what boot camp is, what is boot camp? They're like, okay, put your shoes on like this, make your bed like that, eat this food, do this workout. That's what they do. They get you on the program that it's imposed
leads to success.
discipline. And it leads to having your life somewhat sorted out. And once you get that, then you look around and you go, okay, now these bigger problems, if I can control these little things, I can control this thing that's a little bit bigger. And if I can control that, I can control this thing that's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
If I can control that, then I control this other thing that's a little bit bigger. But when you're not, it's the same thing I talk about all the time with the Chechens and the Russians not, failing on that first war. And it all started when they stopped shaving. Well, it's the same thing with your personal life. When you disregard these fundamental things that you would do in boot camp.
Yeah.
When you start letting them go, well then if the little things fall apart, then the bigger things fall apart. But contrary to that, when you put the little things together, you can start putting the bigger things together. And that's what you're doing right now.
This whole podcast, I've talked about, what did I stop doing? I stopped, I'm going to eat pizza tonight instead of my prescribed diet that I've ate for years and makes me feel good and keeps me in good shape, because fuck it today. And then the next day it's like, well, I did it yesterday. I'm going to have Cocoa Puffs for breakfast. Yeah. And it was just a downward spiral of, I don't need to go see my therapist. He's all the way on the other end of town. And I know my life sucks right now.
Yeah. Don't need somebody to tell me that my life sucks. I already know.